Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Rose Gowen, and I'd like to welcome you to a special edition of Brownsville in Motion. In 2007, the School of Public Health, University of Texas School of Public Health, the City Health Department, and interested people like myself got together to decide how we could bring back a farmer's market to the city of Brownsville. Farmers markets all across the country had slowly dwindled away after refrigeration happened and grocery stores took a lot of the business that was normally done at a farmer's market. So for a year, we studied what would a farmer want to participate? What would a shopper want to participate? What would the location look like? Should it be in a rural setting? Should it be in an urban setting? Should it be outside? Should it be inside? And we looked at all these factors a lot like you would do conduct a research study. At the end of the year, we had our location, we had our partnership with the city, School of Public Health, and a grant that Suclinica had received for reduction of childhood obesity. One beautiful day in 2008, the market was open. 6 growers were present, and we sold 50 dozen farm eggs in 30 minutes. Not only was the farmers market born, but Linear Park went from an unrecognized space to all of a sudden an active place where Boy Scouts would meet, where people would gather. It was really a spark that hit that part of Brownsville. I had the privilege of being the first chair of the Brownsville Farmers Market. And now, all these years later, I have the privilege of being the chair again of the Brownsville Wellness Coalition. The Wellness Coalition was formed in order to govern the Brownsville Farmers Market. And all these years later, the farmers market is thriving and growing and creating a real destination for people in the Midi-Cultural District. So today I'd like to welcome 3 friends and employees of the Brownsville Wellness Coalition, Asalia, Juan, and Clarissa. And I'd like them to say a little bit about themselves and what do you do for the Brownsville Wellness Coalition? Asalia?
My name is Asalia. I handle marketing for the Brownsville Wellness Coalition, and I really feel like my calling is to be a storyteller because I do see the value in the perspective of our community. It's honorable, and I think it's worthy of being shared.
Hi, my name is Juan Medrano. I am the program manager for our urban farms. I'm here from Brownsville. I grew up most of my life on the southmost side of town. And one of my main missions now is to produce more healthy foods for our community to be able to, I guess, explore and enjoy as well. So that's basically what I've been doing and dedicating my life for the last maybe 2, 3 years to. Yeah.
Great. Clarissa?
Hello, everyone. My name is Clarissa Villarreal. I am the Community Gardens Program Manager with the Brownsville Wellness Coalition. I am currently finishing up my master's in the Agricultural Environmental Sustainability Sciences program at UTRGV. Both of my parents come from both agricultural backgrounds and are farmers as well. Um, I think I became really passionate about the position and the responsibilities that I hold because of those roots that I have. Yes.
And what's your goal at the end of all of this? You've shared this with me, so I
Yes.
want you to share it with them.
So the goal is to continue doing that for Brownsville through a farm that I would own myself. So
That's
I
it.
want to continue the legacy of owning a
That's
farm.
exciting. And I hear tomorrow you're graduating.
Yes, tomorrow I will
Awesome.
be
Awesome. Do we
graduating.
get to go to your graduation and
Yes.
like yell and scream and make you uncomfortable?
Yes.
So these you guys are really the face of the future of BWC. It's people like you who not only have passion but education and professionalism that I hope the Wellness Coalition continues to recruit. And as you go
Mhm.
out and recruit others, you think of those 3 things: passion, professionalism, and education. So, Juan, tell us, let's start with you. We'll pick on you. So what is an urban farm? You mentioned that you manage the urban farms. Tell us what an urban farm is and what's the big deal? What does that mean?
So an urban farm is basically just like any other farm, just set up in an urban setting. So that could be in the middle of a city. Let's say, for example, maybe if we had one here downtown, that would be pretty awesome, I think. But ours, for example, are in neighborhoods. low-income neighborhoods at that. We have one at the La Posada side of town, hidden behind a small grocery store by the Montezuma Cypress Preserve. And then our other farm is on La Mancha Drive, which is over by the HB Plus on Paredes Line Road,
Mhm.
in a regular neighborhood. So it's pretty awesome. You drive into a neighborhood, you see your same usual houses that you'll see, but all of a sudden you come across a small plot of land that's being used for organic vegetables.
So
Yeah.
what do you grow? Tell what would we typically see if we went to visit an urban farm?
So we have several, I guess, varieties of vegetables that we grow. Our main staples are beets, carrots. Eggplant has become one that we didn't really foresee happening, but people now come to the market asking for eggplant.
Really?
Yeah, and it's interesting because what's a, we kind of try to grow culturally relevant foods. So we try to do, the chiles, jalapenos serranos, cabbage, carrots, cilantro, the usual staples in our culture's kitchen. But yeah, small little things like that come up. The eggplant, or even kohlrabi seems to be one that people
Mhm.
have been enjoying as of recent, which are things that you normally don't find in our households. But yeah, it's just a different variety of vegetables. They're all grown naturally and organically and sustainably, which is one of our mission statements for the urban farms, is
Mhm.
to grow our foods in a way that is sustainable to our environment and also healthy for us to consume.
So by organic, you mean no pesticides? What does that specifically mean when you're growing a vegetable?
Correct. So we don't use any synthetic fertilizers, synthetic pesticides, no oil-based products. Everything is naturally derived. So we use things like neem oil that are pressed from neem nuts from the neem tree.
Mhm.
We use things called BT, which is a sort of bacteria that is cultivated from the ground itself, that helps us. And those are really the only two things that we're using at the moment. And that have proven pretty effective, I would say, along with healthy soil practices that keep our soil alive and nutritious for our plants. Typically, if you have healthy soil, you'll have healthy plants. And usually, bugs and things like that are attracted to unhealthy plants. They're attracted to the weak plants, and they can sense that. So they'll go to those unhealthy plants and feed off of those and stay away from the things that might be a little bit more, I guess, resistant, right, to their damage.
Nice. And do you harvest once a year? You must harvest more than once a year. How does harvest go? I guess it's different for every vegetable,
Mhm.
but give us a sense of that.
Well, it definitely is time consuming. That's the biggest thing I can kind of point out. We harvest 3 times a week right now for our 3 markets that we're feeding. We do 2 markets during the week and one on the weekend, and every day in between is a harvest day. So we typically show up, we prep our bins. We always make sure to clean our bins before we start loading vegetables into them. And yeah, every we have a team of 2, sometimes 3 people, and every now and then we'll have a group of volunteers go and help out. And each one gets assigned a crop, is taught how to do it in the most efficient way, and then we just go to town on harvesting. Yeah, and
Very cool. Very cool. One last question. Well, not last question, but one last question. How many pounds or bushels, or how would you tell the audience, give them an idea of volume of what you harvest, let's say from all three
Mhm.
together urban farms?
Well, in the month of February and March, collectively we harvested 1,200 pounds of food. Um, this comes in a weekly amount, so sometimes it's 150 to 250 pounds of food that we're harvesting every week. These past 3 weeks, just in cucumbers alone, we're hitting 40 to 50 pounds of cucumbers every week. And I cannot get them to stay. They're the first thing that fly at the farmers market on Saturdays.
That's
Uh,
terrific. So that's not your peak. You do have the capacity to grow more.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
terrific. And Clarissa, tell us about a community garden. What's the difference between a community garden and an urban farm?
So we have very similar practices, like Juan mentioned. It's all sustainable, organic. The difference between the community gardens and the urban farms is that the community gardens are actually led and upheld by our community members. So I'm there as a program manager, but we follow the lead of the community. Anything that they want to grow or experiment with growing, they have that free space to be able to do that there at no cost to the members that we have in the community gardens. We have 4 community gardens right now. Esperanza Community Garden by Roosevelt Street and Falk Middle School. We have 2 downtown, Tres Angeles Community Garden, Ruth and Jean's Garden as well, and Rosemary Community Garden by Portway Acres. So we're kind of spread out throughout the city, and every garden has a community of their own where everybody comes together to learn from one another. We put in the work of maintaining the garden. We teach people how to be able to grow their own food, essentially. Um, we give them education tools. We, like I said, all learn from one another. And we also do culturally relevant crops. So anything like nopales, okra as well. Um, some people are more interested in like pollinator plants. So we also have small little pollinator gardens in the different gardens where we're at.
How
Right
about
now.
herbs? What about
Oh,
herbs?
yes. We have Rosemary Community
Okay,
Garden where we
okay.
have a lot of rosemary, some mint, basil are big ones. But everybody really likes to get involved with different kinds of crops, and you get to see what each individual person likes to grow and where they really flourish in their community. Right now, we have about 55 households that we impact, and we're growing. So we're seeing more people come out to our gardening classes, and it's not only the households that we're impacting because we do see that a lot of these people that take home harvest are going to go home to share with their neighbors or somebody
Sure,
who's not part of the community garden. So
sure.
it's really nice to see that they not only care about the people that they're directly working with, but they're going to give back to other people in the community who aren't necessarily directly
So
involved.
at least 50
At least
households.
55,
It
yeah.
could be more.
Yeah.
So do the people, the neighbors that are going to garden, want to garden, do they have to bring their own seed, their own mulch, or you provide everything?
We provide all the materials. Some people do experiment with bringing their own seeds, so we will take donations if they feel like they want to bring something from home that they want to plant. We give them the space and we guide them to how to be able to, if it's in season, if it's not. So we give them guidance and tools to be able to grow what they want.
And are they given the option of selling what they grow, let's say at the farmer's market or
Yes.
yes?
Yes, we do have a grow to sell program. So, right now we have 2 or 3 members of the grow to sell program. One of them being an 87-year-old woman who works out of Esperanza Community Garden.
Mhm.
And, it's all different walks of life that come through there, but we want to support um, their ambitions to be entrepreneurs and
Mhm.
for them to be able to grow from seed what they take to the market is a really nice experience because not only are they keeping their direct community gardens healthy, they're also reaching out to the communities at the farmers market to get them healthier produce to their
No
tables.
doubt. Gardening has been shown to be helpful, young and old, improved self-esteem,
Mhm.
better concentration levels,
Mhm.
more community and socialization, so you don't feel
Mm.
isolated and alone.
Mhm.
There are a lot of mental health
Oh, yeah.
benefits in addition to those health benefits. And I remember when we first started the first garden, Tres Angeles, we did a study of what the folks sold at the farmers market. And at that time, they had each household had a plot, like
Mhm.
a bed.
Mhm.
And so they could would earn $200 a month, $200 a week at the farmers market during growing season, in addition to what they took home. So some families, that's a big amount of money.
Yeah.
If you think about them selling every single week, that
Mhm.
month they could earn almost $1,000 selling at the farmers market and take home food for themselves. So I think that's people don't realize that, and you think, okay, you're going to grow some herbs, that's nice, but you don't think
Mhm.
about the economics of it, which is huge, not very, very huge. So,
Mhm.
Acelia, you said you're a storyteller. I love telling stories. My father used to say, "Okay, that's enough. Stop telling me the story." So I'm drawn to that. How do you tell the story of what we just heard, the farm, the garden, and the special people that are working there?
I'd like to start by saying I try my best. But, um, really, Clarissa and Juan make it very easy to capture those moments. So the storytelling happens when we step foot into these spaces that otherwise, like Juan said, there would be a plot of land. But as soon as people gather and learn from each other, it becomes something completely different. It's very special. So the effort in joining Brownsville Wellness Coalition is understanding the idea of food access, food equity, and education, the power of education. So these spaces tell a story of their own when you see community members interact and you understand how they've quite learned from seed to showing up at the market. So I find it wonderful that Brownsville Wellness Coalition has taken the time since 2008 to foster that kind of community and ensure that everybody knows that this is accessible to them. So the marketing comes in with kind of breaking this idea that it isn't for everybody. It's every human eats, as we've learned. Everybody needs food. The question is, do we feel entitled to it? Do we feel entitled to a nutritious lifestyle? And do we feel comfortable stepping into these spaces where we can learn even more and strengthen that connection to our community and our bodies? Mhm.
I couldn't agree more. The beauty in my view of the farmers market, the gardens, and so forth is that they are appealing to people of better means, middle means, and
Mhm.
fewer means.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I know that's probably the best project that you can do,
Yeah.
so that you draw from all strata there.
Mhm.
And I think that we all love to eat food that we can say, "Oh, that was good for me."
Yes.
We don't want to pay too much for that organic food at the grocery store. We know scientifically that as soon as a vegetable is harvested, its nutritional value starts to deteriorate.
Mhm.
So if you're buying something that Juan harvested last night, its nutritional value is so much greater than if you went to HEB. Sorry about that, HEB, but if you went to the grocery store and that harvest was 2 weeks ago and got shipped in a refrigerated
Mhm.
truck. And I buy vegetables at HEB too, but but not
Love
my
HB.
herbs and not my eggplant. And I think that's part of the story too. And when
Yes.
you tell your messages, no?
Yes, and I just step foot into this kind of world. So it's always lovely to see it with fresh eyes and then acknowledge the people who have been here before me and have done the work and have pioneered this lifestyle for Brownsville, which I think we're entitled. It'd be nice for everybody to partake and contribute to it. And we all really can. Um, Speaking of freshly picked, I mean, I always find it amazing that Juan and anybody harvesting are there the day before. They are washing your vegetables the day before you see them on a basket or on a table. Like, how lovely is that? It's
You can't get that at a grocery store.
no. Mm-mm.
Not at all.
Mm.
So your job also, if I understand it correctly, is to explain, or actually all of your jobs is to explain what SNAP, DUFB, what, and those initials are like French to me.
Mhm.
Tell us, what is SNAP, what is DUFB?
Mhm. So, SNAP is a nutrition program federally funded that helps provide helps to put food on the table for either lower income households or anybody who is eligible. And just doing a quick search in the Texas Health and Human Services page, just alone in I think it was January of this year, about 90,000 people were eligible, and there's only 40,000 cases of that
And that is here in Brownsville,
in Cameron
in
County.
Cameron County. Okay.
Yes. So in Cameron County as a whole, And we aren't the only place that holds a farmers market. So this is a good amount of people that could be benefiting from this nutrition assistance program,
So they're not utilizing it. It's money
and they're
that's
not.
being left on the table.
Crazy, but it was something like people from 5 to 18 years old was the largest group that hold those cases. Anybody that's as young as 5 years old, obviously through a family member or a guardian, you have access to that. And then the other age groups, 18 to um, what was it, 49 or
Mhm.
almost reaching 50, is the second largest group that benefits from this type of these kinds of programs. So, and how SNAP ties into the Brownsville Wellness Coalition, Fresh Food and Gardens, is that we accept SNAP. So a lot of the times you might see it in the grocery store, but so does a farmer's market. And the DUFB part is Double Up Food Bucks Texas is partnered with the Sustainable Food Center. What we do is we accept your SNAP and we double the amount your buying power. You step in with your SNAP, you withdraw the amount that you would like to spend at the farmer's market, and we double it up to $30 per day. We host a farmers market once a week, but we have other avenues where that can be utilized. We also have the Fresco mobile market, also managed by Juan, and we position ourselves throughout the city where we place freshly picked foods and or gather products from local vendors such as eggs, bread, that are also SNAP eligible, and that is yet another avenue where people can access nutrition.
So some folks may be frightened to go or not reluctant to go to a farmer's market
Mm.
because they think they couldn't afford that. That's really for
Yes.
those that are more wealthy.
Mhm.
But if they
Mhm.
have SNAP, they can use that like dollars. If they have $10, they're actually going to be able to buy $20 worth of product. Am I hearing you right?
Correct. Yes.
And how does someone sign up for SNAP?
We unfortunately don't help with that part of the process, but it is something that you can search through Texas. I'm sure a quick search of the nutrition program online, you can search and find where to apply. Um, but we take it on from the moment that they become eligible.
They receive it. And
Yes.
then you can sign them up for the DUFB for the
Yes. The
double
the
bucks.
double up food bucks is as soon as you have your Lone Star card or your SNAP eligible, we're able to retrieve those funds from your account and then make them in paper form in the farmer's market.
That's cool. And then
Hmm.
what's senior bucks? And where did I think you told me about senior? Somebody told me about senior bucks. Do we know about that? I think there's
Mm-mm.
certain days, am I right, where seniors get double bucks also? No.
Everything will go through SNAP.
Okay.
So our seniors who are eligible for SNAP are also able to benefit from the Double Up Food Bucks program.
Okay. And
Hmm.
this runs year round,
Year round. And
every year.
the dollars they do not expire. So as soon as you have those bucks, if you don't end up utilizing them at the market, you can save them for the following Fresco or for the following farmers market.
Or the next month. It's
Yes,
not, it doesn't expire.
correct. And not only Brownsville, I'm aware that McAllen also is Double Up Food Bucks eligible. So it's an RGV community that we can service by providing those Double Up Food Bucks.
That's amazing. I
Mm.
bet you, as you said, most people don't know one, what SNAP is,
Mhm.
and two, that they are probably eligible. All they had to do is check. So,
Yes.
guys, get online,
Hmm.
see if you qualify for SNAP. It's sustain. Does anybody know what SNAP stands for?
Supplemental Nutrition Assistance
Nutrition Assistance
Program.
Program, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Okay, we just know it as SNAP. But there's some other initials out there too, and one is CSA. What's a CSA?
So I love talking about CSA. CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture,
Okay.
and it's basically what you heard. It's the community supporting your local agriculture. The best way I could explain it would be, let's say a farmer would need some sort of assistance to offset some startup costs at the beginning of the season. You can open up a CSA and let your customers know, hey, I don't have harvest right now, but in 2, 3 months, I'm going to have these products. And you, as a CSA supporter, are entitled to these products. You could think of it sort of like a subscription box also, where you pay ahead and every couple of weeks you get a box full of veggies. You don't necessarily get to pick what veggies go into the box,
Mhm.
but that's part of your support, right? It's whatever the farm can produce, that's what you're going to be getting. You're going to get a share of each of the crops in your box every couple of weeks, and you can count on that. I think it's a great way for people to start learning how to eat seasonally, um, in the sense that, when you go to the grocery store, you have all kinds of vegetables and fruits that you can eat all year long, and maybe that's why we've gotten a little bit, I guess, what's the right word? We've been
Spoiled.
spoiled. Yeah, that's there you go. Yeah, we've been a little spoiled, right? Because we get access to all these foods all year long. Versus a CSA, you are eating seasonally. You're just producing what your climate is able to grow during those specific
Yeah.
times of the year. So that's a good way to get started and introduce yourself and your families to vegetables. The other thing that we do as Brownsville Wellness
Mhm.
Coalition for our CSA program is for every box of every participant that orders a box, for every box you purchase, we donate a bag of vegetables to a family that needs it. So, for example, I know you, Dr. Gowen, you subscribed for a while
Mhm.
when we first launched our CSA, and I think it was maybe 3 or 4 rounds that you supported us through that. Those 3 or 4 times that you purchase the box, we set aside a bag for a family who needed it. We work with partner organizations here around town. A couple to mention would be Tip of Texas Family Outreach Center, as well as Friendship of Women. They have their own community who they serve, and we just take those boxes or bags to them and let them distribute to the families that
Mhm.
they uh, have conversations with every day, so they know who needs this food. So we take it to them, and they're able to give it to their community. It's a good way for us to help with some of the costs of the farm, but also just to be able to keep giving back to the people that we're here to serve.
That's terrific. My son, who you've spoken to, is a farmer in Oregon, now Seattle, and he had a CSA for quite
Hmm.
a while, and people would call him and say, "Well, I like your, I tried your, basil and eggplant and whatever, and I want to join your CSA because I liked what I tried at the farmer's market."
Mhm.
And like you said, it was seasonal. They would give him a bag every, I don't know, a week or two. He always told me that it was really good for him because he knew ahead of the season that he was not wasting his time or money growing those crops because
Hmm.
the crops were already sold by the time that harvest
Yes.
came, and so he wasn't stressed about that. And I think it's the same of what you're describing. You're helping that farmer, in this case us, the Brownsville Wellness Coalition, to know that those crops are not going to go to waste. They're sold appropriately, and just like Tom's shoes, you buy one, you get one, you give
Mhm.
one to someone in need, so to speak. How much does a membership cost?
So our boxes run from excuse me. So our boxes run from anywhere from $35 to $40 to start, to just get your plain box. We also offer add-ons through vendors at the farmers
Mhm.
market, such
So
as
what's an
yourself.
add-on?
So an add-on would be, let's say you want a muffin from Quilted Carrot, or you want some eggs from Pondu Ranch, or maybe some juices from Trish's Juices. You can go ahead and select what you want in your box. We'll go ahead and pack it in there for you, and there you go. So you have your vegetables, and you also have access to the other vendor
So
products
it's
at the farmers.
$35 for a box.
Correct.
So if it's every 2 weeks, it's less than $100 a month to have a big supply of fresh things, fresh vegetables and herbs.
Yes,
Mhm.
ma'am.
That's pretty neat. That's
Hmm.
pretty neat. I like the idea that you're getting what grows there normally,
Mhm.
depending on the climate and conditions, as opposed to something that was forcefully grown in a hothouse somewhere, perhaps, and then shipped a very long time to get here. I really like that concept. I also like supporting farmers. Um, it, the CSA is also something that you tell stories about.
Mhm.
How do you attract? How would you attract someone to join a CSA, our CSA?
I really, when we think of vulnerable populations, we usually have, specific groups of people. And I think that our farmers are the hardest working and very vulnerable population. So for those who appreciate fresh foods and see the value in consuming such product or such produce, if you value a farmer for their hard work, this CSA box sells itself. So I think the best way that we can involve our community in this is, like you mentioned, just sharing the story of our farmers and the fact that they input their time ahead of time. By the time we get any carrot, any eggplant, our farmer has already worked months in advance. So I think it's the best way that we can applaud, honor, and continue to support agriculture through CSA programs. And that is very small scale. Our large scale farmers also lose at a larger scale. So uh, I think selling the box itself is for us to support the mission to continue growing food and knowing our food and knowing the people who put their hands on the ground and put in the time for us. They are our doctors in a very different way. They are the people who keep us healthy by dedicating their life to this. So
There are programs now that you say doctor, and I heard about one in Houston that you, let's say that Juan, you went to the doctor and he said you have high blood pressure, and the doctor writes you a prescription to go down to the, I think the farm PH, like pharmacy, and there you give them the prescription. It says you have high blood pressure, and then the farmer or the attendants are going to tell you, well, nopales are really good for
I
related
love
illness,
that.
or you shouldn't use much salt in your food. And so, how about these fresh herbs to season your? And
Hmm.
I just was fascinated by that because it's really food as medicine.
Mhm.
And we know that science has told us preservatives and so forth are really not that healthy for us, and really the most nutrition is something that he harvested yesterday,
Mhm.
whatever, and or that you harvested out of the garden. So maybe someday we can grow into that, because that would be so neat to have a pharmacy person that would help the gardeners, the farmers, and the public to understand that. I really like the sound of that. So how many CSAs memberships would you propose, or do you envision being able to manage efficiently in a season?
I would love, in a season, I would love to at least serve this 300
How many?
subscribers. 300.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
boxes.
Hmm.
Okay, eggplants.
Yeah.
We got to grow some more eggplant.
Eggplant recipes every day.
Yeah. No, I mean, usually we'll open up for anywhere from 25 to 50
Mhm.
slots every couple of weeks. I believe this last time we did 15 just because the growing season was a little rough. But ideally, I mean, if we can get 25 every couple of weeks, 50 every couple of weeks, I mean, you're talking hundreds of boxes,
And that's the corresponding same number of free bags of food
correct?
Yes.
going out to those that are the most vulnerable, really.
Another
That's
thing that's
that's
worth
cool.
mentioning, sorry to interrupt, but I just felt like we should mention it. We can accept SNAP for CSA.
Good point.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true.
I always forget that part because I don't
Yes.
think of that as SNAP
Mhm.
eligible.
Oh yeah, and anybody who has SNAP, they can use their SNAP card or they can use their Double Up food bucks to pay for a CSA program, and it
Yes.
becomes that much more
The
That's
double up
accessible.
terrific.
also applies to CSA.
Mhm.
So
That's
let's say
terrific.
the box is 30. An example would be you use $15 of your SNAP. We double it. That gives you another 15, and then that pays for your box.
That's
So then you
terrific.
have an extra $15 that you could use in your SNAP if you want to use it elsewhere.
Right.
So,
Right. Your dollar is stretched further. That's
yes.
terrific.
Mhm.
And the season for CSAs, is it all year or certain time to certain time?
So we have only successfully launched during springtime.
Okay.
But ideally, the situation would be to run from fall to winter into spring. Maybe stop a little bit for the summer, just
Yeah.
because
Yeah, it's
I don't think
harder to
people want
grow.
boxes of okra. But yeah,
That's neat. And Clarissa, you said the gardens touch 50 households that you know at least.
At least,
What
yes.
is the capacity of the four gardens combined? What do you think in terms of how many households could you reach?
I think we could even possibly triple that, so maybe 150 or more. Some gardens are larger than others, but there's always room for anybody who wants to come out to learn, and be a part of a community that is growing food and knowing where their produce is coming from.
And how often are you there or your staff there to help, you know, eh, Maria, who doesn't know how to grow a carrot but wants to know how to grow a carrot?
So we are at a different garden location every day, morning and afternoon right
Okay.
now. So we are here to serve you throughout the whole week, even on weekends sometimes. If a certain time doesn't work for somebody, we work around their schedule. If they really want to get in there, then they would have access to go on their own as well.
Oh, terrific.
Mhm.
And if some entity, let's say a bank or uh, whatever, some business wanted to offer gardening classes to their employees,
Mhm.
would you have the capacity to do that given the time of day and all of that stuff? Is that something that you enjoy doing?
Yes, definitely. We are always looking to get that education of growing organic, sustainable food into every household, every business. I believe a little food hub in every little neighborhood
That'd be
business
neat.
would be neat.
That
Yeah.
would be neat. And a snap sign that's right
Yeah.
next to it. That's neat. And you have some classes going on right now,
We
right?
do. We are doing a gardening class with the Caracara Trails right now.
So if you're interested in kara kara, you can join the class,
Mhm.
and it's very affordable if I remember
It's
correctly.
free.
It's
Yes.
free,
Super
even
Yes.
affordable.
better.
Yes. It's free.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Mhm.
So I'm sure, just like me, you can't spend time in this space without meeting exceptional
Oh
people
yeah.
that really touch your heart,
Mhm.
that make you think, oh, wow, this is an aha moment. So give me a powerful story that just you can't get out of your head. I want to hear two. So what do you think? Who wants to go first? Juan.
Yeah, okay. I'll go ahead and go first. So a couple of years ago, before I started running Fresco or doing the urban farms, I was working in the community gardens, like Larissa, and there was this gentleman. He never really was a member of the community gardens, but he would go and volunteer. And he would assist us with just, weeding, pulling. If we were seeding, he would help us seed. He would learn how to do all that. Um, but one of the things that he had mentioned to me was that he was kind of going through a rough time. Um, he had been going through maybe 2, 3 months of just sort of staying at home, not really getting out much. And that once he started going to the gardens, he kind of felt more compelled to keep going. He understood that, hey, I'm putting in this work, but I'm not going to see the results till later, and I want to see the results. So he kept going for months. Some of the stuff that he helped us seed, it was time to harvest, so he would help us harvest. He got to take it home, eat it, share it with his friends. If so, at the end, and we still keep in touch. He ended up stopped going. We lost contact for a little bit, but I run into him at the farmers market every now and then, and now he's growing food at home.
Is he
Yeah, yeah.
really?
So that's one of the great things about what we do is that you kind of never really know when you garden or you farm, you know exactly what you're planting. But with people, it's different. You don't know what moments are going to impact them, what
Mhm.
moments are going to stay with them for the rest of their lives. And I feel like with that specific gentleman, I mean, he got to take home how to grow food, and he got to take home the laughs and the good times that we had while we were in the garden. So
That's
it's just things like
neat.
that that kind of make it worth it, right? Not to say that it's not in general what we do is very important, but it's just these little moments of fruition where you get to harvest something you didn't realize you planted. Yeah.
No kidding.
Mhm.
That's a wonderful story. Okay, ladies.
I
So
have to hand it to Gladys because
okay.
she has so many. Yes.
One of my favorite things that I see that happens in the community gardens, and it's been more than one occasion, but we have older generations. Like I mentioned, Socorro, who is 87 years old.
Hmm.
She's been with us since we first started Esperanza Community Garden,
Yeah.
our longest standing member. And she loves to see when students, young generations, come to learn about how to grow food. And she sees them pull, like a beet or a carrot out of the ground, and children love that.
Like,
It's a
oh my
yeah,
gosh.
Sensory. Mhm.
it's really a special thing to see that they really want to take this home and eat it
Sure.
now. And Socorrito always advocates for, if you want to be 87 years old or 100 years old, you need to start knowing where your food comes from. And I think that was my aha moment, because she's definitely right. It starts with educating our younger generations
Mhm.
about where your food comes from. Do you know how to grow your own food? And if you don't, then that's some
Yeah.
education that we need to get out there. So that's constantly happening, and it's always occurring where I'm just seeing connections of multi-generations learning together in the garden, families, mothers with their toddlers coming out.
Mhm.
Those are also my favorite moments, when I see people connecting with one another and with what they're gonna put on their plates, the food that they're growing.
I think that's a wonderful gift for
Mhm.
parents and grandparents um, to give their children or just older generation. They don't have to be blood related to you, but
Mhm.
I think of my parents. My mother was from Southern California, and my dad was from here. And when I think of gardening, I think of my mom climbing the fig tree in my backyard because she wanted to pick the figs before the blackbirds came and ate the
Mhm.
figs. So my job was to be down at the bottom of the tree with the basket, and when she would throw the figs down, so I have always that. She also grew papaya, and she didn't really grow vegetables per se, but fruit. She did a lot of fruit.
Mhm.
But that was my relationship with gardening as I grew up, and I always think of my mom when I see figs.
Mhm.
It's like,
Mm.
Yeah.
it's in my brain,
Yeah.
hardwired that way. So today is actually my mother's birthday. If she was still with us, she would
Wow.
be 99. So shout out to my
Happy
mom. I
Happy
hope
birthday.
you're eating
birthday.
some
Heavenly
figs up there,
birthday.
mom.
She's bringing the figs to
Anyhow, the
us for sure.
stories are so important
Mhm.
to motivate you to keep working, but also for her stories
Mhm.
to tell, because she those personal stories are so much more powerful than anything else available.
Mhm.
So what did I forget to ask you? If there was one thing that I didn't ask you that you really want to get across, what would you say? What do you want to leave people with?
I think I would like to leave people with the fact that this topic of entitlement to their health. Uh, we just heard how these magical third spaces, as people call them, or this is where magic happens, because it at the end of the day, it's always about how we ended up feeling leaving these spaces. And if I can just motivate anybody, is taking that first step to stepping into something that might feel a little bit uncomfortable at first, but we can guarantee that growth will happen in one way, shape, or form, whether it be physical, emotionally, or mentally. You're gonna come out a different person with a different perspective. So I would say take a chance in asking questions and putting yourself in the spaces that want to see you grow.
Mhm.
Great. How about you, one?
I think I just want to, I guess, empower people to let them know that their decisions carry so much more weight than they feel, especially when it comes mainly talking about their food and their vegetable purchasing. Um, it's like you said, Doctor, the nutritional value that comes in farm fresh foods is far superior than what's in the grocery stores. So I can just imagine if we were all to shop farm fresh, if we were all to go get our produce from farmers markets and local growers or backyard growers, or just grow your own food,
Mhm.
how much of an impact that would not only make to our physical health but also our mental health. I know that there's certain symptoms that occur when you're not feeding yourself nutritious food.
Mhm.
So I just feel like we'd all be in a better state of mind and a better state of
Mhm.
health to make better decisions for ourselves, for our families, and for future generations.
I couldn't agree more. Clarissa, you're gonna have the last word.
So, um, much like they mentioned, we want to give the power back to the people, and a lot of the community garden spaces wouldn't be possible without the communities that we connect with. Um, a lot of these members, actually, all of the communities have become a family to me. So it's also roots that we have with one another. It might not be directly related to one another, but we have roots all around us, and it's great to see a connection where we're all just trying to go towards a greater future for future generations, where we know what we're growing and putting onto our plates, and just being a healthier Brownsville through creating that connection of getting together with your community and doing something impactful, just connecting back to our roots of community.
All what you all said and it reminded me of a conversation I had with a professor at UTRGV a few years back. And he came from someplace in the Midwest, and I don't remember the city, but he was saying that they did a study in this city of were there enough urban farmers or farms to provide enough food to feed the city in case of a disaster or,
Hmm.
whatever. And the answer was no, there
Mhm,
there was not. So the city government in this area intentionally then began to incentivize more urban farms to form. So they made resolutions that empty vacant lots were prioritized to be turned into a farm, and so forth. And I thought, how exciting that a city could say we can feed our own,
mhm,
Yeah.
Hmm.
the old people, the young people, the wealthy people, the not wealthy people. How cool is that? So one day, my hope is that people out there and elected officials, because of course you can't do it without those elected officials, um, ins- prioritize growth of the farmers market and the urban farms and the gardens so that we can say we can feed
Yeah.
Brownsville
mhm,
and do so in a nutritious way, healthy way, and
Hmm.
more affordable way. That would be
mhm,
amazing. That's for the next generation that you guys will lead. And of course, we can't stop without talking about the cannery. So the cannery is an old Quonset hut along Linear Park that used to be the packing shed for canning products. So back in the day, the train would come down Linear Park and end kind of where the federal courthouse is, and it would stop at the cannery, and the train would be loaded with the vegetables in cans, not fresh vegetables, but cans that would be shipped someplace else. So there was a debate about 10 or so years ago whether the building should be knocked down or renovated. Of course, it was much cheaper to knock it down because it's old and so on and so forth. But there were a group of architects and local folks that were really interested in history and all of that that won the discussion of keeping it and restoring it. So finally in the fall, in a few more months, we'll be moving the Brownsville Farmers Market to the cannery.
Hmm.
That's very exciting, but for many things, the cannery will be now an indoor farmers market, so we don't
Hmm.
have to cancel if there's rain or lightning or super cold weather. And it will also be partnered with the presence of the food bank,
Hmm.
which serves different kinds of food. They don't grow their own food, and those that will fill a gap. And then put that together with the cooking classes. Azalea, tell us about cooking classes. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah, so another program that we have is the Happy Kitchen,
Mhm.
as we like to call La Cocina Alegre.
mhm,
This is a 6-week program that participants sign up completely free. And these 6 weeks, you have nutrition classes and education paired with food demonstrations. And you graduate, you take home a delicious, I think, over 200 plus recipe book that is not only follows the curriculum, but also allows you to buy on a budget and cook with healthier foods, more health conscious, making healthier decisions with your recipes. And that's ongoing for as long as we can book a place where we can host these classes. LCA is happening. So I can envision La Cocina Alegre becoming something even more. um, more of a community-based program by having the cannery. Because fingers crossed, we're gonna have just the coolest kitchen and just a big space where more people get to learn. Maybe we can open up more seats for people to be part of that community, connect, learn about food, and I'm very excited for the cannery as well because it's going to pair every single program that we have and have food access through the food pantry as well. Like it's lovely.
There's a beautiful
Mhm.
outdoor kitchen space
As
at the
well.
cannery. Have you guys wandered through the I have, and I'm
Yes.
drooling every time I walk through there. I
Yes.
mean, there's a beautiful kitchen inside,
Uh-huh.
but the outside one even seems during our best weather to
Yeah.
be even better. So
Mm-hmm.
I picture people going to it's already a destination, going to check out this new building with whether they
Yes.
have cash or credit card or Snap, something in their wallet, and they're going to buy Juan's eggplant and Clarissa's herbs that Socorro grew, and but they don't know how to make eggplant, and so they're going to go over to where Azalia is hosting the cooking classes and learn how to make eggplant and be able to ask, okay,
Yes.
how do I make this funny looking vegetable or kohlrabi? I didn't grow up with kohlrabi, so when I heard that, I thought, does this come from Russia or what? I mean, I showed my ignorance, right? But I wanted to buy it, but I didn't know what in the world to do with it, so I could buy it and then ask how do I cook it? And then if there's still a gap in my family, I'm wandering around to the food pantry to fill that gap,
Mhm.
all the while supporting the farmers, the gardeners, attracting people to be gardeners,
Mhm.
and having everyone think about their own health and nutrition um, right on the dashboard instead of in the back of your head. So I
Mhm.
think it's almost like it will be, if all goes well, a lot like dominoes. You hit one and another, and they're all connected. The CSA could be picked up at the cannery.
Yes.
There's a
Mhm.
lovely park next to it
Mhm.
that the Midi Foundation put in, so you can maybe have a picnic of whatever
Mhm.
you bought at the cannery. And then, of course, the flowers are there. And someday I hope we have a demonstration garden that we
Mhm.
would have there. All wrapped up in the fact that you can walk to it, you can ride your bike to it along the trail,
Mhm.
or you can drive either way, or take a bus. All modes of transportation
Mhm.
available in that location. So we're very much looking forward to that. And hopefully we'll have a lot of really cool celebrations
Mhm.
coming up
Mhm.
to mark that event.
Mhm.
So I want to thank you, first of all, for joining me today to have this conversation. A lot of people still, even though the market has been open for nearly 20 years, a lot of
Mhm.
people still have never been there or don't know that it's there.
Yeah.
And they
Mhm.
don't spend their Saturdays in that part of town, so to speak. So we've introduced a lot of cool things, and I hope that folks were listening and we see some new faces, not to mention the tourists. They do come.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They are very interested in what we're doing, probably because they have farmers markets back in the Midwest and areas where that's a much more staple thing. Consider coming down, folks. Consider getting involved. Check out a community garden in your neighborhood. Visit Juan at the urban farms. Look at the Instagram and social media that Asalia posts. See what's going on, what's new and exciting, and just take a chance. We guarantee that we will put a smile on your face, and introduce you to a vegetable or an herb you've never tried, like kohlrabi, and give it a try. It will definitely be worth your time and effort. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning into this special edition of Brownsville in Motion to talk about a project, an organization, a mission that is so, so passionate and solidly in my heart and my soul. And thank you, my friends, for joining us to talk about my favorite topic. And I'm so proud of you and so proud of the next generation that you're going to bring into the Brownsville Wellness Coalition, the Brownsville Farmers Market, Farms and Gardens. Check out the
Mhm.
website. What is the website?
BrownsvilleWellnessCoalition.com, and our socials are also BrownsvilleWellnessCoalition.com.
So you can
Wait.
find any of these folks and see what we're doing and what we're up to, especially as we get closer to the cannery.
Mhm.
Thanks, and we'll see you next edition.